Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Fisher, and welcome to our channel, Scientology Peeling the Onion. I'm here with my co-host, Janis Gillham Grady. How you doing today, Janis?
My name is Mark Fisher, and welcome to our channel, Scientology.
G'day, everybody.
That's not my phone. Is that yours? Yeah.
No, I was playing it so I could chat with everybody, and suddenly your voice came on.
We are sorry for the delay. We're sorry for the delay. It was just technical difficulties, but we've got them sorted out now. And anyway, Tori's using her phone, and so we got a good picture, and then the sound quality. You should be able to hear her, no problem. But anyway, just please, be understanding. We had to do a little jury-rigged setup here to get her on, but we're happy she's going to be here. I just wanted to tell everybody thank you for being here at our channel. Tori's a legend. She's a YouTube pioneer, as we call it. And anyway, we're just really happy to have her. Janis, do you want to go ahead and we'll get? Oh, one thing I wanted to say is if you've got a question, we're going to answer questions, and also comments, we'll pop them up. But just write the word question or somehow indicate that it's a question, so that way we can star it and we don't miss it. All right. And then also, if you want a super chat, super sticker, you can do that. And then Janis, we're going to do a giveaway, right?
Yes, we are. We're going to do another one of my free win shirts. It's a small, so if you're big, don't bother trying to win it unless you've got a little honey somewhere that would fit a pink free win shirt.
Okay, and it's pink, right?
It's definitely pink.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we'll give that away. We'll give that away right before we, go into questions and stuff. We'll do a live giveaway in the chat. So anyway, Mary Kay London's in the chat. She's a member of our channel, and she won the last shirt, the Maiden Voyage shirt. She said she already got it and she loves it, so she's going to take a picture.
Good.
So we can see it.
Good.
Stuff like that. Anyway, okay. I see people are in here, and without further ado, Janis, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest?
Yes, one of my good friends, known her for years, and we hang out together when I go to LA. And I just love Tory. So let's bring Tory on.
Tory Christman is here. Hey, Tory.
Hi. Thank you, guys. Sorry I'm on my phone, but my desktop got really weird. So here you go.
That's okay.
Tory,
we're glad that you're here.
In all the Russian craziness, I wanted to mention that I was wearing purple in honor of you today. And I was expecting you to come on in purple.
Purple. My t-shirt.
Okay. Because I even called Mark and I said, Mark.
It's purple and orange. This is orange, believe it or not.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Tori's known for that. Anyway, we've known Tory. Janis, you've known Tory a long time. I didn't meet you, Tory, until after you started left Scientology and were speaking out. And of course, we had mutual friends. But no, I mean, you are a pioneer as far as YouTube. I was just saying, between you and Mark Bunker, I mean, you've been doing videos longer than some of the people watching this have been alive. That's how long you've been doing videos.
I know it's true. One of the live streamers, these younger kids came over to help me and to teach me how to do the live streaming, and he couldn't believe it because I had like 5 million views on my YouTube site, and he said, right. I can't believe you have this many views and how little I know about computers. I'm not proud of it, but I've just chugged along. It's like it's been just like today. The thing. It won't work, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, Tory.
You make it go right.
Yeah, Tory. One thing some people are saying it's a little hard to hear you, so just make sure you get your TR1 in and boom that voice. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, I like that they can hear me. Wait, but I can't hold it. Is that better?
Yeah, it is much better.
It definitely is
but,
better.
You can't hold it like that. Can you prop it up like that?
No, I can't. Let me think. Hang on just a second. Maybe I can. Hang on.
Tori's making it go right. She disappeared.
Yeah, she's going to have to come back in. Hopefully she'll be able to do that. Anyway, in the meantime, Janis, any other news with Rocky and Moose? I saw they were asking.
Well, yes, someone asked. So look, let me take my camera And let's see if I can get this moose sleeping away on the couch.
He looks like part of the couch.
Well, he's got so much weight. He's 140 pounds now.
Here comes Tory.
Mm.
Hi, Tory, you're back.
Okay. All right. So now I'm going to try to do this again, but I'm upside down, right?
Yeah. There you go.
There you
Now
go.
you're fine.
Now, let's see if this will that work? Does that sound better?
Oh, yeah, much better.
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
and then just speak up. Speak loud. That's all. You know, and just
speak
keep that going. Okay, so we're ready to get rolling here, Tory. Anyway, I wanted Janis, we were going to talk about first, you know, how Tory about your family and how you got in Scientology and all that, right?
Right. Because I know a lot of people have no clue why she's Magoo.
Yeah, I don't either, actually.
I know.
I do.
Okay, good. Now what happened is my father passed away at 22, and he was a very strong man and very courageous, and I always kind of kept him near me. I felt spiritually. There he is. He's in the Football Hall of Fame, the American Football Hall of Fame, and then he went on to broadcast in the 60s, and then he passed away in, I think, 51 when I was 22. That's him. That's right. So, okay, so now I wake up from Scientology, which is a whole different thing, and I've done a whole escape series on I redid my escape series on Tory Magoo 44, which is my YouTube site, and it's Tory, just so anybody knows. People always call me Tori, and it's not, because my name Tory, came from the Chicago Cardinals, because my dad played for the Chicago Cardinals, who went on to be the St. Louis Cardinals, and now they're the Phoenix Cardinals, and I think they're called the Arizona Cardinals now.
Right.
But anyway, one of the guys on the team named his daughter Tory, and my dad said, I really like that name. Let's name our daughter that. So that's why it's a Y, because it really came from these men, right? Because women is Tory. So
Right.
I always liked it, so I kept it. But and for a long time that wasn't a differentiation. Nobody ever could get my name until Tory Spelling. That was it. You know, for all of my life, I was Tony, Corey, Lori, Terry. But anyway, to get back to it, so my dad, when he was broadcasting, he was very funny, and I mean, not like a comedian, but he was funny, and both of us have these little tiny eyes. See, so I'm calling him Mr. Magoo just for fun, right? Okay, so I call him Magoo, and his football number is 44. So now Bunker in 2008 says, we're going to start a YouTube site for you, when Anonymous came around. And I said, for what? And he goes, you can tell your story. He goes, let's just start with Tory has a YouTube site. So I had to name it. So I named it Tory, because I always felt like I kept my dad near me. And when I woke up in 2000, I was like, I don't know what to do. And I kind of just plugged into my dad, and he said, get out of LA. Because I was like 15 minutes, I'm still 15 minutes away from Osa. So I just get out of LA. So that's what happened. So I thought, I'm keeping this guy near me. So originally I was Miss Magoo 55, because Scientology already had taken Magoo 44. But anyway, I got it. And so now I'm Tory Magoo 44. That's my YouTube site. And my email is Tory Christman 44. So I always keep my dad sort of near me. And I always remind people, if you've lost someone, you can always keep them near you if you want.
Absolutely.
That's an excellent
That's a
point.
great story.
Yes.
It's a great story.
It's fun. Because I think of him all the time. You know what I mean? And it's really, it's fun. And he's a wonderful guy.
That's great. Well, we've got this picture here. Who's this here?
You can't miss it.
That's really funny. I think that's our communion, but I don't know.
You know, I found this on your Facebook page. Someone sent it to you years ago, and I went through your photos, and I found this. I thought, oh, I got to put this up here. It's so cute.
It is cute. It really is. That's very cute. You're so
Where did you grow up?
Park Ridge, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And it's a wonderful, I went to, in my class council is Hillary Rodham. And my brother found out. We were looking through it and he went, "Oh my God, you were in a class council with Hillary." And so anyway, you know, it was just a fun thing during the election, you know, to put up the photographs of our high school because both of us went to Maine Township East. So that's where I was. Anyway, I love Park Ridge. Just to finish that, it's a wonderful suburb. It's just wonderful. It was my favorite place to live ever.
Mark, Mark is muted.
Sorry, that's because Misha was making noise. So how did you get in Scientology? What was your career path when you first started? What, in life, or just go ahead and give us a little rundown.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a non-career person. You know, I was like, my parents wanted me to go to college. I kept quitting college. So I went to Vernon Court Junior College in Newport, Rhode Island. And my roommate and I both went, I can't stand this. So we quit college, went to New York City. So now we're in New York. And then the summer of love came and I said, we're going. So we bought a VW bus and we drove across the country and I became a hippie, left, but I became a hippie and was totally in, the summer of love and, just crazy rock and roll and drugs and everything else.
Was that San Francisco?
Yeah. I lived right up from the sign, Hate Ashbury. I lived right up from that. So I'd go and see Janis Joplin, you just go down to the bar and she'd be in there singing and stuff like that. I met Gracie Slick, who was from the Jefferson Airplane recently. Anyway, doesn't matter. It was a fun time. And then from there, I got sick and I went back. My parents put me in Lake Forest College. And in Lake Forest College, a kid brought me a Dianetics book, a kid from high school. And I wanted to be a doctor. That was my career goal, was to be a doctor. My grandfather was a doctor and I wanted to be a doctor. But then I was in college and I thought, I'm not going to make it 4 years in college and 4 years in graduate school and internships and everything. And this kid brought me Dianetics and I only read 3 chapters of it, but it was about clear. And I thought, well, I could clear people. That's kind of being a doctor, not really thing who doesn't know. But anyway, that was my thing. So I had an argument with my dad. He said, get to bed, it's 10:30. And I said, Dad, I'm in college. And I've always been a night owl. I mean, always. Mm-hmm. And I was like, come on, Dad, I'm in college. Leave me alone. And he said, look, it's our morals or no school. Like either you do what we say or that's it. And so I wrote on my mirror, your morals or no school, screw you. And I packed my bags, which was awful, but I did it. And I hitchhiked from Chicago in 1969 to Los Angeles because at the back of the Dianetics book, it says St. Hill, England. Make it fair, even though you did, Janis, but I thought, no way for me. And then I thought, well, American St. Hill in LA. It looks like that's what happened.
It's funny how, Janis, it's funny how many people we've interviewed lately who got into Scientology in the Bay Area during the Summer of Love. I mean, we've had Candy Swanson was at Berkeley. Tory was in San Francisco. Ronnie Levin and Jeff Levin, right? They're from the Bay Area.
And Sandy Holman's from the Bay Area.
Sandy Holman. Yeah. It was a ripe recruiting ground in those days.
All the time from Scientology that were there then.
So you arrived at ASHO, American St. Hill Organization, in 69?
69, and there was a book called Blink, which I always recommend, to people because it talks about your first instincts. And my first instinct was this. Walked up to ASHO, they had these huge pictures of L. Ron Hubbard. I thought, hey, he looks a little like Adolf Hitler to me. That's how he looked. And then all these guys were marching around in their uniforms. Well, I was a hippie. I was very much against, I'd been fighting the Vietnam War. So I thought, I don't really want to be with the Navy, which that's what they looked like. And then I thought, I don't know, they look really organized. So anyway, the guy in Park Ridge had said, just go ask for John Hildebrand. He's on the big course there. So I said, okay. So I go in and I say, I want to talk to John Hildebrand. And they go, you can't. He's on course. he'll call you at 10:30. Okay. Again, I'm a hippie, so I hitchhike out to some guy's house that my friend said, go, you can stay at his house. We get stoned, we're smoking grass, and we think, no way, the guy's not going to call you, because hippies never finished what they were doing, or most of the time they never did. We great plans, we never did anything. So I think, hey, he's not going to call me. So we're stoned, and at 10:35 the phone rings, and I go, it's the guy. It was just like really spooky. And he said, okay, I'm going to come out there and talk to you. And I said, oh, okay, sure. And so I hang up, and we both get more stoned, and we're laughing, like the guy's going to drive all the way out to the valley from Asho, which was on Temple Street, to see you. We just didn't think at 10:30 at night, no way. 10:45, the doorbell rings, and it's him. And he's smart enough to go, this isn't going to work. Come on, get in the car. I'm going to take you somewhere. And he drives back to Asho, outside Asho. And if you remember back then, I don't know, were you guys both in then in 69?
Well, I was, but I was on the ship.
I know what it looked like. Yeah.
And were you, Mark?
No, I didn't get in until 73. I was in high school, but anyway. But I went to Asho. I went to Asho in like 77. So, I know what it looked like then.
They all kind of stood outside after course and talked to all the auditors and stuff. And so we sat in a car. We drove up next to the auditors. And he said he bought a 6-pack of beer. So I thought, well, he's not all bad. He drinks beer. So he can't be bad. And then he said, well, what are your considerations? And I said, well, why does that guy have up the big pictures? And he said, don't worry about it. That's Hubbard. It's just, it doesn't matter. And then I said, well, why are these guys marching around in the uniforms? And he said, it's just the Sea Org. I don't think that's what you're planning on doing. What do you want to do? And I said, I want to be an auditor. And he said, okay, let's go talk to the auditor. So we got out. And I remember the second I turned off my critical thinking. It sounds weird, but I do. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. I remember the second I turned off my critical thinking, and I thought, I don't remember who. I think it was Rocky Stump. It was somebody I was talking to, and I thought, I don't care what these guys are doing, and they had all, which now we've all tried to strip off because we sound like Martians. But back then, I thought it was so cool. It was really this cool language. And so I thought, I don't care what these people do. I want to be one of them. That's it. And that's how, I joined. Nobody, like they have where people get you in Scientology.
Yeah.
Hildebrand helped me because he had me talk to the auditors. But I really decided on my own, I want to be a Scientologist. That's it. And I was in like true believer. That's it.
It's funny how you mentioned, Tory, I've forgotten about Rocky Stump. He was the case supervisor at Asho. Scientologist, we had some really, really wild names in the Sea Org. We had Dusty Rhodes. We had Rocky Stump.
That's right. Yeah,
those
there were
are
some
real
good
names.
ones.
Those are real names.
I always say that back then because it was a very fun time. And most people that look at Scientology can't even imagine it being fun because it's not anymore, but it used to be. In the 60s, it was very fun. In 70s, it was like cool, and a lot of cool people, professors and doctors and smart people. It was really interesting. Artists, musicians, your mother, you.
How many years did you end up staying in as a dedicated Scientologist?
I was in for 30 years.
30 years?
And you were just public, or did you go on staff at some point, or no?
Yeah, I hate that term. And I'll just tell you, because Sea Org guys always say that you're just public. And I'm trying
I didn't mean that. I didn't know if you did both.
I know.
It's the just mark.
I know you don't mean it. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Did I lose you again? Are you there?
No, you're there.
I can't see you, though. Wait.
Oh, we can see you.
You're moving your hand, so that maybe you're moving your camera.
Oh, there she's gone.
She'll come back in a minute.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing, Mark, on people, just like me. I was born into it, and I was there for 34 years. If from my birth until I finally left. But even after I left, I still consider myself a Scientologist. But they, you know, that you stay in a long time.
Can you see us now?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So what were we saying?
Well, we're talking about, were you just on staff or were you just public and you hate that?
Well, I try to point it out to Sea Org members because most Sea Org members say, oh, you were just public. And it's such a, first of all, I wanted to be in the Sea Org, right? And I was in the Sea Org. Did you guys know I joined the Sea Org?
No.
Well, I'd heard about it through our many conversations since.
So what happened is I joined the Sea Org at ASHO, I think in 71. So I was in 69, 71. I joined, they say you need to be in the Sea Org. And I say, okay. And it's a billion-year contract, right? So now we're out on the Boulevard, which is a ship out in the LA harbor.
Right.
Excuse me, I have this frog in my throat. And I have epilepsy, so I take medicine for it. I got it at 18 years old, and they put me on medicine, and I hadn't had a seizure since. So now I'm out on this ship, and I run out of my medicine. And I say, look, I've got to get a refill of my medicine. And he says, oh, you need to go see the MLO, which is the medical liaison officer, which was an 18-year-old kid who was totally medically untrained at all.
Yeah, right.
Kind of crosses his arms and he goes, well, we're the top 10% of the planet, so we don't take medicine. So, and I go, really? And he goes, yeah. So we're going to put you on vitamins, which was Adele Davis, I think was the name of that book.
Oh, yeah, Adele Davis. Let's Eat Right. Yeah.
So she was the source because she said, if you take magnesium, you won't have seizures. Okay, so that was her thing. And vitamins and Dianetics, of course. Dianetics will take. So I, being a 22-year-old idiot, think, okay, I believed him. All right, I'll do it. And I start trying to get off my medicine, and I start they route me out of the Sea Org to get off my medication. And I start having grand mal seizures, really bad ones. And you'll see during this time, I forget things, and that's my short-term memory. And I just saw my neurologist recently, and he said, everyone that has seizures, it directly affects their memory. That's what happens. Yeah. So if I get off onto different topics and I forget what I'm talking about. So I always say that if I'm speaking, somebody in the audience has to remember what I'm talking about. I can't exactly but anyway, so the MLO says get off your medicine. I have a ton of grand mal seizures. Do you remember Nate Jessup, you guys?
Oh, of course. Yeah, he's still in.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
Wow, I didn't even know he was still alive.
Yeah, well, Rebecca and Amos passed away, but okay. Nate is still in.
Okay, so I lived with Mary Jessup. She was married to Nate and then divorced.
Yep.
Just not really in Scientology, going with this guy, Michael. They lived in a duplex right near Temple Street, right near Asher. Excuse me. So I thought, okay. I'm looking for my water because I thought I had my water, but I don't. Anyway, I thought, okay, I'll live here. And I started having these seizures. And of course, the Scientologists were like, you're not being responsible enough, Tory. And I'm like, it was just awful. It was a nightmare on Elm Street. It was a really bad thing. And my mom, thank God, stayed on top of it and kept saying, Tory, they're going to kill you. You're getting worse all the time. No, Dianetics is going to fix it, Mom. Honestly, it is. She was in Chicago. And finally she said, okay, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm going out on a date. She said, okay, I'll call you tomorrow. And she called me the next day. She said, how was your date? And I said, what's it? And she said, okay, that's it. Remember, her father was a doctor, and I'm sure she had talked to him. And she said, either you're on your medication today, and your doctor calls me today and says you're on your medication, or I am going to fly from Chicago to LA. And believe me on this story, L. Ron Hubbard and the Church of Scientology will never, ever her. And I knew my mom. She could kick serious ass. And my dad had connections to all these media because he was on NBC and knew a lot of people by that time. So I
Right.
thought, this is going to be a nightmare. Plus, who wants to have seizures anyway? So now I had my excuse to take my medicine, and I haven't had a seizure in 30 years, except a couple of times when, again, I tried to get off my medicine for various reasons.
Wow. So your mom was looking out for you. That's really good. Yeah, because Scientology doesn't believe, oh, that's just your case, right? That's something
Right.
that's wrong with you. Not that it could be something physiologically wrong or whatever, biologically wrong, you know?
Right.
So did you stay in the Sea Org, or is that the point you left the Sea Org?
I couldn't. But my point was, I never felt like I was just public because I
Right.
was always trying to be back in the Sea Org. So
Right.
they knew that. So they were always getting me, call Tory. She'll volunteer for this. She'll volunteer for that. And I did. I did a lot
Yeah.
of shit.
You were the big volunteer.
And after I escaped out, I went to see an attorney, the guy that had been fighting Scientology. I forget his name. Dan
Flynn. Michael Flynn.
No,
No,
was it Dan?
no, it's just 2000. This would have been around 2000.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, he was very nice to me. But then I came out into the office and these ladies were giving me these really dirty looks. And I went in 2000 to his office and I said, look, I don't get it. You know, I'm out, I'm speaking out. Why are these ladies giving me these dirty looks? And he said, you know, I don't think you realize how much shit you've been in. You know, you have Scientology used your name for a lot of things. And they did. You know, they'd just say, sign here, we're handling blah. And I'd be like, okay, because I was a big true believer. So I did.
You mean like something like this? Page 258 of What is Scientology features a write-up and image of our own Magoo.
That's me. That was my own. I will say that. That was my personal. I went there. This is a funny story. I went there and they said, come on over. I went there and they said, okay, we just want you to write a success story. So I wrote a story on auditing. And I thought, Tory, they're not going to use you for auditing. You know, they're going to use a celebrity. So then I wrote a second story. I said, well, let me write another one. I wrote one on training. And then I thought, Tory, they're not going to use you for training. So then I wrote this little success story about getting back in touch with my parents, which was true. I did. I got up. My mother acknowledged it at the end. Two things good happened to you in Scientology. You got off drugs, which I wasn't really a druggie. I was sort of a social drug. But it did help because I was going down the path, doing more drugs. And Scientology said, we don't do drugs. And that was it. I quit. But also I got back in touch with my family because they said they're big on families. And they are, I call it the Scientology Truman Show, where you're in the Truman Show, you're insulated, isolated. You can't talk to anybody that's not really a Scientologist. I mean, you can talk to them, but you can't really connect up with them.
Right.
Right. And your parents and family were never in Scientology, I take it, right?
No.
Right. So it's similar. It was a similar situation with my mother. She never was in Scientology, so I could stay in touch with her and talk with her. But as soon as I got declared a suppressive person, my sister, who was in Scientology, could never speak to me again, or to my father, who also had been in Scientology and left. So, you know, it's the stupid disconnection BS policy that Hubbard has and that Scientology has followed for years. And it's another abuse.
Yeah, it's one of the main reasons I speak out.
Yeah. Well, you know, the actual policy is handle or disconnect, and they skip doing the handling of just getting in communication.
Well, I will say this. That was one of the things Hubbard I thought was good at. Because remember, I have ethics. So I was immediately sent to ethics and your PTS, which is a potential trouble source, right? But they showed me the policies, and it's like they had quite a few different steps you had to do before you were declared suppressive, or before you disconnected. And
right.
So one of them was good roads and fair weather, which I did with my mom for 30 years. You know, it's like until I got out, I just did good roads, fair weather, and it worked. But Miscavige has changed all that, where it's like an immediate disconnection. And I happen to have my disconnection suppressive order.
You've got it laminated too.
I know.
Yeah.
I knew they'd sneak in. They were breaking in my house when I first left, and I knew that, so I laminated it. And I
we have ours too. I have mine too.
Yeah. But I was talking to someone the other day who said that they were pulled in by OSA in Clearwater, and they were showing my declare because it was found out they were communicating with me, and they were showing my declare, and he looks at it and he says, "Oh, that's just because someone was pissed off with her for leaving," and handed it back.
Good.
Hey, let me ask you, Tory. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Just interesting.
I was just going to ask, how far did you get in your Scientology training and auditing, on the bridge or whatever while you were in? How did that go? What did you do?
Okay, so remember, my goal was to be an auditor. I wanted to be a Class 8 auditor.
Right.
I got to Class 5 and interned Class 5. That was it. And then it's auditing. For people that don't know, Scientology is like a triangle, and the top is OT8. And I got to OT7 and struggled along on it for 7 years and finally quit really in 1997 on my own. I didn't say anything to them. I just quit. I just stood out in the street and literally said, "That's it," to all the BTs and clusters. "Get away from me. You can go wherever you want, but I'm done with auditing, not just for this lifetime, but for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime." Because Hubbard always ran that it's not just this lifetime, it's lifetime after lifetime after lifetime.
Right.
So,
how did you pay for all that yourself, or you weren't staff, so you didn't get it for free, right?
No. What happened is wait, sorry.
Yeah, you're jiggling around.
I know. I'm sorry. I co-audited the lower bridge, meaning you would audit and I would audit you, right? I'm just explaining to people that might not know co-auditing. That's what it is. And it's basically almost free. You have to pay for CSing or someone to organize what you should do next, kind of thing. But that was it. So I co-audited the lower bridge, and Snyder gave me the power, which is grade 5.
Right.
Expensive. She gave me the power and briefing course package.
Wow.
That's kind of a huge gift. I was just like stunned. Anyway, that's a whole different story, but so that's how I did the power. Clear was because of LRH's son, Arthur Hubbard. And I had already decided, forget it. I can't really go clear. And Debbie May said, "When are you going to go clear?" And I said, "Really, next lifetime. I have to get a different body because I have epilepsy." She said, "Oh, that's bullshit. Write to David Mayo." And I did. I wrote to David Mayo and told him my situation. And remember, everyone for years had been saying, "You're PTS, you need a PTS handling," all this shit, right? Which didn't work for me, right? Because it's a medical condition. Like my mother said, it's not a psychosomatic condition for you. It's a physical condition that you have.
Right.
But anyway, so I write to David Mayo, and he writes me back and he says, "Sounds like you need a PTS handling." And I said, "That's fucking it? You're the senior CI on the planet? And that's all you have to say to me? All these morons in LA, that's all they ever say. Oh, you need a PTS handling." I was really pissed. And he wrote me back a 6-page handwritten letter that I still have, saying, "I said this, I didn't say that. Of course you need your medication. I have heard there's a bunch of morons in LA," which he actually said. And he said, if you need my help, come to Flag, I'll help you. And we did. We moved to Clearwater, and I did do OT3. I did up through, but Arthur Hubbard was the one. I was there. We had moved there, and he took me out to lunch. I don't know why, because I never met him before and I never saw him again. But he took me out to lunch, and he heard my story about reading the 3 chapters and then quitting college and hitchhiking from Chicago to LA. And he goes, and this is before anybody had said this. When I say this term, you're going to go, "Oh yeah," but no one had done this. I had never even heard this term. And he goes, "Oh, you're a last lifetime clearer." And I said, "What is that?" He goes, "You were with my dad doing research. That's what happened. You went clear then." I mean, it was just like a total evaluation, but it worked. That's I see. I have always gone by the original definition of clear, which was you have a perfect memory, which, hello, you can see I don't have that. Perfect IQ, no somatics, no pain. That's what the original definition says. Hubbard kept changing it because nobody had that. So they kept changing
Right.
it. Now it's just your first time looking at and stuff like that. But I was already like, okay, these guys aren't clear. I already thought this is a bunch of shit. This isn't what Hubbard said. It just isn't. So for me, by the time Arthur Hubbard said that, I thought, okay, fine, I'll just attest to clear. I knew I needed OT3. That's what I thought. Because everyone kept saying, oh man, you get to OT3, that will help you with epilepsy. So clear. So
I wanted. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I attested to it after talking to
Yeah.
Arthur Hubbard. I said, okay, I'm a last lifetime clear.
Yeah. I just want to, this is a question or comment that somebody said from Ryan M. in Canada, is Canadian. Well, wow, I never thought anybody got anything free in the Church of Scientology. Let me explain what Tory was talking about was co-auditing. Hubbard always wanted to train more people to audit and process because that was his focus. He needed more people to process so that they could sell more services and clear the planet or whatever, right? So the easier way to go, one way was to pay for all of your processing and all that all the way up the bridge. The other way, though, is how the way Tory did it, which was you could pay for your auditor training, which was relatively inexpensive. I remember the Dianetics course was $500 or something, and the academy levels, the academy level 0 to 4 to become a class 4 auditor were $1,000, and with discounts it was like $700. So it wasn't really super expensive. But the encouragement was if you train, then you can co-audit with another student. And you can audit each other up the bridge, and you don't have to pay for that, except for, like you said, CS time and things like that. So that was the path that Tory followed.
And Hubbard used to also say by training and co-auditing, one got more gains through Scientology rather than being a professional pre-clear.
I think that's true. To this day, I do. I really do.
Well, and I got that. I got that when I was in the RPF, and I had to read it, drill it, do it, and co-audit. It was my first auditing my twin, who was Stacy Brooks, who you know very well, and that's how we got through. And it was the first time I'd ever really processed somebody else. And it's true, I got wins, just as many wins, taking care of whatever she had to deal with as I did myself.
Yeah, it's like anybody. You can just think of helping another person. That always helps you too. You feel better. You walk away. You did something good, and that's kind of how co-auditing is. Even though, some people say it works, some people don't. But the lower bridge, I've always said, I think it works. It's like talk therapy, right? And then what happened is my mother-in-law, I tested to clear, and I earned the money to pay for OT 1, 2, and 3. So I did sales and stuff like that and earned the money, paid for it, did it. And then I had to do OT 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And my mother-in-law got in 1950. She and her husband, my now ex-husband, but his parents got in 1950 with LRA. And so she was now OT 8, I think. She had attested to OT 8. So she gave Harold and I, no, I think she was OT 7. But anyway, she gave Harold and I, first David Light called and said, remember David Light?
David liked the big register. He was, yeah.
He called me up. I'm in this room here. And he goes, hey, I've got good news. Your mother-in-law paid for Harold to OT 4 through 8.
Wow.
They have a thing in the new TRs, which is called a half act, a half acknowledgement. It's not like, oh, thank you. It's sort of like, hey, sort of, you're not done with it. And that's what I did with David Light. I went, okay. And he went, all right, let me call you right back. And he calls me right back and he goes, okay, she just paid for both of you. It's your inheritance. So she gave all of our inheritance to Flag for our OT 4 through 8. So
And that was a lot of money because OT 4 through 8, I mean, you've got a lot of auditing that you have to do on solo, first on knots, new aerodynamics for OTs, and then on solo knots. I mean, you're on it for a long time.
I was on it, but we had to pay a lot of money because we paid for all the trips to Flag and back because I was forever. I never had a win on it, not one win.
No.
Now your ex-husband is still in, right?
Yeah, he's OT8 and a big mess.
Okay.
Most are not doing well.
No. But your son lives in LA near you?
My son lives near me. I won't say where, but he's doing very well. And I got him out before I got out.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the first kid, Jeremy Kasowitz, hung himself. And he was someone Justin knew. And I just thought, okay, I don't know what's going on, if somebody's going to kill themselves. But I took my son to SeaWorld and I said, look, we really got to talk about this. And I said, you know, someone you know killed themselves. And you have to know if you're going to kill yourself, it's not going to be one death, it'll be two, because I'll be dead 5 minutes later. And he started laughing and he said, don't worry, Mom, it's not in the cards. I said, okay, good. And I said, look, here's the deal. If you don't want to do Scientology, which I sort of thought he didn't, you just say it. Because, you know, I don't want you to feel like you have to take your life over what I think is my religion. I think it is, but I'm sort of like, I was kind of on my way out myself. And
right.
He said, I don't want to do it. I've watched you and your friends for years. You give the church all your money, you know, all your life. You know, you all live in shitty houses, shitty cars. And it's kind of true. So I said, okay, then you're done. But just don't tell your dad because he'll disconnect with you.
Oh, smart move.
Yeah. But he ended up, I left, then Justin let him know. And anyway, that's a whole different story. But
Mark, your microphone is off.
It is?
Sorry, yeah.
Misha
was barking. So anyway. Janis, I wanted to say, you know, we're going to do more with Tory, but I thought we should go to questions now because we got plenty of questions and people, and we can just talk about those things. And we've got more that we can cover with Tory in the future.
Okay. Yeah, we got
so
lots to talk about, Tory.
We're going to go to your questions, viewers, into questions. If you have something you want to ask, just write question. We'll start and we'll ask. And then also, go ahead, Tory.
Just let them know that you're going to do a series, so there's more to this.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll ask questions that'll be things we're going to cover in the future.
Right.
That's true.
So let's, I mean, if it's something long, then I'll say this is something we're going to cover in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll try to answer it though.
Anyway, before we go to questions, Janis, let's do the giveaway for the shirt. First question was from Barbara, but you can call me Barbara, or Barb Trees. You can call me Barbara. Question: would a very slender 16-year-old be small enough for that shirt?
Yes. Yeah, I used to fit into this, but not anymore.
Okay, so everybody, just so you know, if you've joined us late, we're going to do a giveaway right now. This is a shirt from the Free Wins, a T-shirt, right, Janis? It's a small.
Yeah,
it's pink with blue lettering, and we're going to give it away in the chat. So if you're interested in winning this, we will send it to you for free. And so anyway, the way we do this is just get in the chat and just say shirt me or me or whatever you want, many times you want in the chat. And then we'll have Tory, we'll count down and then from 5, and then I'll just randomly pick somebody, okay? So if you're in there right now, we want you to get in there, and let's give it a couple of minutes here. But Janis, tell people about the shirt and what it is so that we're waiting for people to get in. So
I've actually had that shirt since 1988 on the maiden voyage of the Free Winds.
Wow.
I would have gotten it then or in 1990 when I went back there and was the commanding officer of the ship. But it's probably older than a lot of people who are on YouTube watching these days.
You probably sell that in about 10 years for $100,000. You know, it's like
probably.
Yeah, eventually it'll be valuable.
Yeah, well, she gave away a
Yeah.
maiden voyage T-shirt last week,
Which had original maiden voyage on it, 1988. I gave that away last week. So
yeah, and Mary
yeah.
Kay London won that in our chat last time. So anyway.
Congratulations.
All right,
Yeah.
so people are getting in the chat. So if you would, Tori, can you just count down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'll just randomly select somebody, okay?
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Betsy Sue, me, pick me, please. Congratulations, Betsy Sue. She's been a member of our channel and a viewer of our channel, and we're really happy that you are the winner. Janis, show her what she won.
Okay, pink free win shirt.
Nice.
Coming your way. And then all you need to do is just email Janis at janisgillhamgrady@gmail.com. Email her your name, address, where you want it mailed to and all that. And Janis will get it shipped off to you. And we congratulate you on winning the shirt, the free win shirt.
Good.
Congratulations, Betsy Sue. Okay, so we're going to go back and we'll do some questions here. Anyway, all right, sorry about that. Okay, next is, okay, here we go. Question from Maid in Manitoba. Question, did the Scientology people always seem rebellious to you? Was that a draw as to why you got in?
No, that wasn't a draw because I didn't know that they were rebellious. I think it was the time, 1969, a lot of people were rebellious. So it was kind of what was going on at that time. No.
Yeah, the heavy protests, Vietnam.
Oh, right. Yeah, and then Martin Luther King, the assassination of Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy. There was a lot of turmoil, civil rights, things like that, and the younger generation were being activated.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the next question here. Bert Pineapple, did Tori ever recover her relationship with her parents?
I did. Well, first of all, my dad died when I was 22. So there's that. My mom, it was a really rocky road because this con man, after my dad died, my mom got hooked up with a con man who was truly a con man and an editor for Look magazine. And they moved from Chicago to Florida, to Fort Myers, which is 2 hours south of Flag. Made a ton of money. They started 2 magazines there, made a ton of money. But he slowly turned her into an alcoholic. And she really was awful. She, like some alcoholics are funny. She was not funny. Excuse me. So anyway, no, I did get to talk to her before she passed away. And, we kind of talked out, like she said, there's 2 things that Scientology helped you with, but not really. We never really recovered, because she turned into an alcoholic. But I always say I had a great base as a child. I have a big sign because I had a wonderful childhood. But some people don't.
Okay.
So a big sign in my house that says it's never too late to have a happy childhood.
That's right. All right, next question. Jehovah's Witness apostate. Question, Tori, did you know Leah Remini when you were in Scientology?
No, I didn't even know of her. I don't think Miscavige really had any idea how big her following is. I mean, she is a
Yeah. I know I think after I left, I'm not sure, but I remember hearing there was a Scientologist on that King of Queens show. But it's like it didn't. Okay.
Well, it also turned out too. She was in the Sea Organization as a teenager, in Clearwater, in the Commodore's Messenger organization, Clearwater. And I heard about this after the fact because I never was there, right? But apparently, she was one of the people that worked with Dave and Shelley when they came. They would assign little messengers to them to run messages and things like that. And then she eventually decided it just wasn't for her. Her mother got her in, and so she left and wanted to be an actress, and that's how that all happened. But she was in for a little while.
I knew a lot of celebrities, but I didn't know Leah.
Right.
Okay. Thanks for that question. He has another one, Jehovah's Witness apostate question. Tory, were you friends with Janis's mom, or did you know Yvonne?
I loved Yvonne. I did know her, and I think every person. You just excuse me.
Do you need some water or anything?
Yeah, I do, but I'm holding my camera, so I can't.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I think every person I know in LA loved your mom. I honestly do.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna drink. Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's better. Thank you. I think everybody I know, and I used to say this, I mean, I've never known anyone, except maybe my dad, but that was loved as much as your mother. I mean, she was just a wonderful person. And the thing I love about her the most, and I want to tell this story, I've told you this, Janis, but it really, to me, is the essence of your mom. Yvonne was very inclusive, right? Even though she started Celebrity Center, she was not like later after she passed away and other people took it over, it became very exclusive. It was like, oh, you have to be on a TV show to sit at this table, that kind of thing. Yvonne was never like that. It was like, if you come, you're welcome. We welcome you. And so one time she always thought Mexico would be the first clear country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So she was heading out with a big entourage to go to Mexico. And this young kid, not a Sea Org, not anything. He was just a young man. He came out and he went, oh, Yvonne, I just finished my first course. And she just stopped everyone in their tracks. She said, okay, everybody sit down, the luggage, everything else. And she said, okay, darling, tell me what happened. And, he gave his little win and she said, wonderful. She said, okay, now what's your next course? And he told her, and she said, okay, we're going to Mexico, but when we come back, I want to hear about it. And it was just like, I thought, excuse me, it's just such a wonderful thing for someone to be that kind. You know what I mean?
Right.
She was very
that reminds me of a story when Terry and I were on leave at Celebrity Center, and we were going to go to the movies with Mom and Heber. And Heber had us go in and get Mom and escort her out to the car because otherwise people would stop her along the way and would never get out. Well, we finally got her to the car and we're in the car and some people are like, Yvonne. And she winds the window down and starts chatting to them. Heber suddenly says, we're going. And he just stepped on it. And these people are trying to talk to her and she's trying to talk to them. And Heber just steps on it and out the parking lot. And Mom turns to him. She was so mad at him. She was like, how dare you cut my communication with these people? Exactly. And it was like, oh dear, it's a little heated in the front seat there.
She was a wonderful person. She really was. And I'm telling you, her death was it was like all of Los Angeles died. I mean, everybody who knew her, it was just awful. It wasn't like, okay, like how Scientologists, for people who don't know, they just kind of sweep people under the rug often.
Yeah, we'll see them again in the future.
Yeah, Steve Miller used to come run. He was a cramming officer, and he used to come running out and he'd go, Tory, you're not going to believe who's dead now. And I'd say, all right, who's dead now? And he'd just list out all these people that I knew and he knew, right? And I think, now, wait a minute, they didn't have a funeral. They didn't tell us. That really bugged me. It really did. And I realized that's just the way they are. Unless you're an opinion leader, somebody really well known, lots of money, or well thought of, then they have a funeral. But the rest of them, nah, just under the rug. They'll come back next lifetime.
Right.
Yep. Okay, we'll go to the next question. Thanks, Tory. Betsy Sue, question. Hi, Tory. You said in the previous interviews that Jerry Armstrong accused you of being OSA and made you cry when you met him. Did the two of you ever work things out or come to an understanding?
I wouldn't say so. No. I mean,
is that something we should do a whole video on?
No. I don't want to upset Jerry. And it was just one of those things where I saw him that day. And if you understand, if you watch the Escape series, you understand, they were going to meet Ursula Caberta the next day, the guys that helped me escape. And they knew that would be too much for me. I was already meeting Stacy, Bob, Jesse, who were like gigantic suppressive people in the church. So Stacy knew this is going to be way too much for her to then hear Ursula Caberta. So they went and met them at the airport, never told me, and did a whole separate thing with them. And I didn't find out for months later about that. So Jerry, that's why he said, it's you, Osa, because he didn't know. It was just sort of like, anyway, that's the way it was. I never got to talk to him again. And then I saw him in Ireland and I told my story and he said, can you put that in writing? And I said, sure. And then I got home and I thought, no, don't do that. I don't want to be part of the Jerry Armstrong case. I just don't. And I don't think my story would help him. I really didn't. I thought it's just going to be more stuff a judge has to read that has nothing really to do with Jerry. So there was that. And then in Toronto, I saw him again. That was the third time. And he got kind of mad at me and he said, you said you would and you didn't. I just said, okay, that was it. And he did, his wife started attacking different activists on Zemu.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, I don't know if it was Jerry or the wife, but one of them started attacking us and they attacked me a lot. And what happened was Pasadena org had their ideal org opening and they did, for the photograph, have hundreds of people there. But Ben Corden and I went the next day and there was nobody. There were 3 people in the org. And so I thought, it's dead. It's not alive like you think, it's dead. And Jerry or Caroline, I'm not sure which, came on and said, it's not dead. It's not dead. And I said, Jerry, I went there. I'm physically here. You're in Canada, right? And this went back and forth. And finally, some critics actually took it on and kind of pounded him. And then he went over to another website and started pounding Karen. And, it was just sort of like not his best move. It wasn't. So I can't say, oh, yeah, we made it up. We had, no. And I feel bad for him because just so anybody knows that doesn't know, Jerry Armstrong is the source of why we're having this conversation. I mean, he was the original guy. And unless I'm wrong, Janis, if you know something I don't. But as far as my understanding, he was doing the biography on LRH. LRH said, oh, I've got stuff down in the hull that you can see. Open up those boxes and check them out. Jerry started reading them and went, wait a minute, this is like the exact opposite of what you're telling us.
Right. Yes.
And Jerry tried to help LRH. He tried to say, look, this isn't going to go down good for you, man. And I think Hubbard got pissed off at him. So Jerry this is my understanding, he packed up and took the stuff and left. But because he has that information finally got out. And thus they sued him and all this other stuff. And he did win. And then he gave the money away. But, he's had a rough hole because of it. But people rarely. So
and, even to this day, that OSA, despite having settled with him, Scientology, despite settling with him, they still harass him.
Right.
And they won't stop, even though, it was settled. There was agreements made and Jerry's been sticking to those agreements. The attack is still there. It's disgusting.
It will be for his whole life. And I feel bad about it. And I just want people to know he is a wonderful person who did, was very courageous and did get this information out so that all of us could wake up. I would still be in the church if he hadn't done what he'd done. So I do appreciate it. I just didn't feel like my little story would help his Jerry Armstrong case. And I know being in courtrooms, judges hated getting the 8,000 boxes of information from Scientology.
Yeah. Well, Jerry's very big on documenting everything, and he needs to. He's in that position because they'll come after him for anything they can.
Right.
And I know Jerry was my brother-in-law.
Ah, that's right. Did he marry her?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. That's right. That was and those photographs are on the internet of their wedding.
Yeah.
You're little kids. I mean, it's so sweet. It was like, I remember seeing those when I was in. It was like, wow, these guys are really little kids.
All
Yeah.
right, let me go. We'll go on to our next question. I just wanted to
Okay.
acknowledge John Poe. Poe on the go is in here. Thanks. Nice to see you here, John. And thanks for being here with us today. And let's see here. We've got a question. Where is it here? This is a comment or question. What was your first impression of Miscavige when you met him?
Awful. I mean, and I'm not just making this up. He came to the Sandcastle, which is where OT7 was being delivered. He tore everything off the walls. They had a big map of where all the OT7s were. We had a thing, the Bazazians from Burbank, California, beautiful downtown Burbank. You know, it was just like goofy, fun stuff, right? And he said, okay, that's it. The party's over. You guys have all been having a great time. Now you're going to get serious. You're going to change how you look. Because what happened is he realized he could plug into doctors, and doctors have a lot of money and they'll spend it on Scientology. But we had to look like we fit in, and we were all still on our hippie outfits pretty much. So he was a dick. And then he also, Tony Clock was working in as a kind of a waiter kind of thing and doing shows at dinner time. And he said, okay, the shows are over. That's canceled, which we all felt bad for Tony. And then he said, I don't like this fork. And so Tony said, okay, do you want me to get you another fork? And he said, I don't like that guy's tone level. Put him on the RPF. And that was it.
Tony was a very good guy. I like Tony.
Super. He was Yvonne, whatever you call it. You know,
he was her steward. He was
Right.
her steward, served her meals and all her guests that she used to have there. And, you know, he was shot once outside the old Charlie Chaplin house on Lake Street. He'd come back from a leave of absence, and there was a shooting going on, and he actually got a bullet in him.
Who's this you're talking about, Janis?
Tony Clock. He was my mom's steward back at the old Celebrity Center, and even later at the Wilcox when they moved to La Brea. But he was a good guy.
Sorry, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay, wait.
There you go.
Now we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Yeah, did you know that the Wilcox is now a hotel?
Yeah, well, you were with me and Spanky when we went up there and had dinner together, and Paul was with us, and Roger, a whole bunch of us. Jeff Hawkins.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I mean, it's amazing that they put that dumpy place into a nice hotel. But they loved hearing stories about living there and stuff. It was really fun.
Okay, Katira Stanley, question. What did you think of Shelley Miscavige? Did you ever meet her, Tori?
Never. But I have talked to someone recently who has talked to people who have seen her physically and know that it's Shelley. So that's all I'll say.
Okay, good.
Okay, thanks for that question. Next question here. YouTube watcher question. What was your response reaction to reading OT1, 2, GPMs, and OT3?
OT1 was totally weird. You know, it was like go out to it
was like a locational. It was like,
I never really understood what it was. It was like go out to the bus station and look at people. You know, it's kind of like, okay, I think I got this. So there was OT1. OT2 was really weird because you remember in Scientology, you use an E meter, right? And generally, you know, you have different reads and stuff like that. OT2 is all, you know, black, white, happy, sad, you know, it's all these opposite things. And you just go down to this. And the meter was just reading like mad. And I didn't know what it was reading on. It was just really weird. And then I finally just got to a point where I said, okay, I'm good with this. And I had tested, but it was just very, very weird. And did she ask about OT3 or not?
Yeah.
Yes, OT3. Yes.
OT3 now, they have a gigantic course that they walk people through this because some of the volcanoes that Hubbard said were around don't even exist. So, you know, at this time. So, you know, they have to kind of get people into the mindset. I don't even know how the course works. But when I did it in 1979, because remember I went there because of David Mayo. They just put me into a closet. It was like a closet, and they handed me this little pack. And all these people you have to get for years have been saying, Tory, wait till you get to OT3. This is going to be it. This is going to handle epilepsy. That's it. So I open it up, and it says, I nearly died researching this information. Well, back before I got in Scientology, I was a Buddhist and into Eastern religions. And I thought, well, I had my first seizure at 18 while I was studying those things. So that's sort of similar to Hubbard, because a seizure kind of feels like you're dying or you died. So then I flip the page and it says 75 million years ago, Xenu, the evil warlord. And I'm like, oh, come on. No way. This can't possibly be OT3. I was really kind of pissed. And then I thought about it for a minute and I thought, well, doctors don't know what causes seizures. To this day, they don't. So I thought, well, maybe this is it. Maybe it is these body thetans and clusters of groups of body thetans. And maybe all that is affecting my body. So I started crying. And the supervisor came in. She said, are you okay? And I said, I am. I mean, it was just such a relief. I thought, oh, somebody knows what's wrong with me. So anyway, that's what happened with OT3. And I did have huge wins on it. I mean, just to finish it, I had these gigantic wins, and people on OT7 kept coming over to me saying, we have never seen someone have wins as big as you're having on OT3, because I really believed I was getting rid of epilepsy. And it truly shows, if you think it's strong enough, I would look in the mirror and go, oh my God, I look different. It was really amazing. So now I attest, and I think, okay, I don't really need this medicine anymore. And I go into what's called status epilepticus, which is multiple grand mal seizures. And
dear.
Thank God, knew this guy, Jerry Hall, who was kind of on the fence. He was a public, and he was kind of on the fence, and I knew that. So I thought, call him. Don't call Scientology, because I knew they would drive me out, just like Lisa, even though this was before Lisa McPherson, that they drove 45 minutes and she died on the way. So per them. So I thought, just call Jerry. So I just said, Jerry, that's all I remember. The next thing I knew, I'm in Morton Plant Hospital, which he drove me right there, which was a couple blocks away. And got all these electrodes on my head. And the doctor said 5 more minutes would have been dead.
Wow. Lucky you did that.
Yeah.
I got a couple of comments I want to highlight here. Okay, this is from OBG Foster talking about Tony Clark. I suppose they did a touch assist for the bullet wound.
Probably.
Probably. And then, good point. Then this is from Betsy Sue, our T-shirt winner. Betsy Sue comment: did Tory just say DM is a dick? If so, I love her all the more.
He is a dick. He really is. He's proved it way, way more than. I mean, there's many examples. I had to live through the golden age of tech. I lived. They changed the definition of FN. This is the thing where Hubbard.
That was really, really crushing. I know.
It was awful. So they are really. When I left because of Miscavige. That's why I left. I didn't leave because of Hubbard or attack or anything else. I left because of Miscavige. And I had 7 years. Please let me off this level. I was 100 pounds overweight. I've lost it and kept it off for 14 years. But
you've done really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's because of Weight Watchers. I go every Thursday night and I follow their program. I love it. It's a good program. But I forget what I was going to say. What?
That's okay. Somebody else made a comment. Tory doesn't mince words.
No, I don't. That's one thing you have to know about me, and I apologize if I swear too much, but that's Scientology. I mean,
that's
I
okay.
knew much until I was in Scientology. And
another comment here. Jenna P. laughing my A off at OT3 sounds like a comedy.
Exactly. It is, unless you're doing it. I mean, that's imagine it, 5 more minutes and I'd be dead.
Yeah.
I mean, how scary is that?
Yeah.
And then we got a question here. This is from Martha Weeby. A question: what exactly are wins? For the public who have never been in, they probably don't understand what that term means.
That's a good question. It's just something that, and you guys
realization, a realization, or some realization you had, like, oh my God, I now can see, or I now can walk, or whatever. It's just some gain that you supposedly have. We would call them wins.
You feel better. You can just feel better. That's a win. It's like it can be a plethora of things. And this is a funny story. In the old days, when I was with Yvonne on 8th Street, they had that Denny's on the corner of Alvarado and 8th Street.
Right.
And I went there, and I had heard about these people with past lives. And remember, I wanted to be a doctor. So I sit down with this one guy, and he goes, yeah, I had a great session today. And I said, really, what happened? And he goes, I realized I was Julius Caesar. And he's dead serious on it. He's dead serious. And so I'm like, wow, it's a good thing I joined Scientology. I would have never met Julius Caesar if I would have been a doctor. That's what I'm
Oh, God.
I know.
Of course, you can never evaluate or invalidate somebody's win.
No.
So I go to another booth, and I sit down I go, it's nice meeting you. Thank you very much. And I go sit down with this other guy, and he goes, I had a really great win. This is in 1969 or 70. And I go, okay, what was your win? And he goes, I realized I was Julius Caesar. And I have this Homer Simpson bubble going, this is a bunch of bullshit. That Julius Caesar. This guy can't be Julius Caesar. Anyway, it was just funny how I call it the closet, where it's like, because there are things that happen all the time that don't fit the text, right? Like, one guy says he's Julius Caesar, so does the other guy. Well, something's wrong there, right? But in Scientology, you can't ask about it. You can't say,
no,
wait a minute,
you can't.
I just met Julius Caesar a couple of minutes ago. You can't do that. So for me, it was just like, put it in the closet. You know what I mean? I'll think about it later. It's always keeping you really running around really fast. Really, we got to get this done. We got to get that done. So you're always in such a hurry, either in your mind or really to get something done, that you don't have time to think about the thing in the closet. So it's just like, put it in the closet and think about it later. And of course, you never do.
Yep. Okay, next
I will hang on, Mark. I want to bring up something on a win. And that is, I grew up getting touch assists and contact assists, and it'd get to a point I'd just fall asleep, getting the touch assist. Well, this one time when I was at the base, and it was probably around 81, 82, I pulled my back out to the point I couldn't move. And I just stood there leaning against the wall in my room because it hurt to move. So Paul went and told Qual, and Sue Kuhn came down. She was my auditor at the time. Tori, I think you're frozen.
She is frozen.
Tori, yeah, she's there. She's frozen.
Tori, come out and come back in.
Yeah, log out and come back in. Anyway, I'll finish my story. So Sue Kuhn came down and gave me a touch assist, and I just stood there because if I just moved slightly, I was in pure pain. And from that touch assist, there she is, yeah. But anyway, from that touch assist, my back actually popped back into place.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, I could actually feel it happen. And I said, I could finally move. And that would be a definition of a win.
Right. I have another one, and that's a good one. And I have another one that is amazing. Yvonne came to me one time, and she said, look, Karen Black, who used to be a very famous actress, and I don't know if she still is considered that.
No, she's no longer alive.
Huh?
She's no longer alive.
I know that, but I'm just saying, I don't know if these people even know her name, but she was a famous actress in the day. And Yvonne came to me and said, look, she lost her voice, and she's got to do this big movie tomorrow. So you've got to go out and give her a touch assist. Will you go out? She asked me, will you? And I said, yeah, sure. So, in touch assist, for anybody who doesn't know, it's like think of this as your body, one side, feel my finger, thank you, feel my finger. And you kind of just go all through the body, right? Just like touching it, touching it, touching it, touching it, that kind of thing. And usually it's like 15, 20 minutes and someone goes, okay, I'm done. I feel better. Good. Okay. End of session. Right. So, or end of the touch assist. So now I go out with Karen. And I knew her, but not really. And so, okay, later on, she could hardly talk. So I said, okay, let's do the touch assist. So I started and remember, this is before I was OT3. So I'd go like this, feel my finger, and 20 minutes later, and I'm not kidding, she'd go, okay.
Wow.
I'd go like this, feel my finger, 20 minutes later, okay.
Oh my God.
And
that's a comm lag.
Yeah.
Some spooky OT3 thing that I don't know, right? I had no idea, but I just kept doing it. It took 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And forever, if we were walking around LA, she'd go, Tory, come over here. And she'd introduce all her friends and she'd say, this girl, because she got Nashville the next day. That was a big opening for her whole career, was Nashville. And she got her voice back from me doing the touch assist and thus could do Nashville. So
Right.
The movie Nashville.
She'd be like, Tory, come over here. And she'd tell them all the story about she gave me this Scientology touch assist and thus I could do Nashville. It was just really, that's a win. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple more comments here, and then we'll get this wrapped up here. Questions or whatever. Question. This is from Marcia Smith. Question: would Janis and Mark ever join Tory to protest at Elridge Way in LA? Well, I've done protests with Tory in the past. Back in the day when Anonymous was protesting, I came out to LA in front of the Hollywood, the building on Hollywood Boulevard, and of course I've done them here. And Janis, you were just in Clearwater, right? Going around with Lori Plays and everything around the Fort Harrison, right?
I wasn't involved in a protest. I just went around the Fort Harrison reminiscing about things and pointing things out. That's not a protest, but
you were supporting the people that were there. There were,
supporting the people that were there.
Yeah, but no, I mean, if I get out to LA, of course, I would definitely join up.
But
with Tory.
Tory is the protest queen.
She is, and I was going to show some photographs.
Okay.
We've got photographs. These are over the years. I mean, this is Tory. These are photographs of Tory with this is during the Anonymous days.
Yeah, that was Anonymous came to Ireland. We gave this talk. They flew us over to talk, and Anonymous showed up. That was right early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were protesting, when from the day that you got out in 2000, 2001, out in front of the Boston org with Bob Minton and Stacy, right?
Right.
And that's Mark Bunker there on the left there.
I said to Stacy Brooks, I'm not going to pick it. I'm not going to speak out. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just leaving under the radar. And she said, Tory, we're only doing for you what we wish someone had done for us. Right. So I wasn't planning on it, but Scientology kept picking on me. And it was like, okay, maybe I have something to say.
And that's Tory there on the left. Of course, that's Mark Bunker in the middle, who unfortunately just lost his re-election in Clearwater, but he does so much. And then on the right, that's Stacy Young, Stacy Brooks, Stacy Kellerhouse. She was my twin on the RPF. We were tight as could be, tight as thieves, until her and Bob Minton settled with Scientology, and I haven't heard from her since. But Stacy, if you're watching this, your twin still misses you. You can always get a hold of me anytime.
Well, she moved out of the country, from what I heard.
I think she's in Georgia with her family or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I saw her in San Diego about 5 years ago with Bunker. Just
okay.
But I knew she was back. She was in Ireland with Bob, and Bob passed away.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that question. And then what else we got? Oh, this is a suggestion I wanted to show. Bartree's but you can call me Barbara. Suggestion, Janis, maybe you should do an episode all about Yvonne. Tell her life story and add clips of all the guests you have had on talking about her, which is a great idea.
Yeah. Well, we'll do more with Tory, and also we're going to do some more with Spanky, who's got a lot of Yvonne stories. But I do have a lot of photographs, and I'll do something like that. That's always been my plan. I would just haven't gotten there yet.
I think it's good the way you're doing it, just stretch it out, because she is a long, it's like my dad, I always talk about him because it's like, they're people, so it's like, I don't think you should do one thing and then that's it. You know what I mean? I think it's more honorable to them to kind of mention her in different things, because there's different people that knew her different ways.
Right. And maybe I should do a story for every YouTube video we do. Throw in a story about her.
Yeah, exactly. I do all the time. I mean, mine are often the same stories, but new people watch your videos and it's new to them.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. And then I've got, and then this is the last question here we've got. Oh, there's your dad. This is from Educon. Question, did Tory ever have any past life memories? How does she feel about them now?
I never did, really. I made them up. And I sort of, what happened, they have a thing called dub in, where you just kind of pretend. And I mean, I think that's all that happened. I'd think, oh, okay. Like Hubbard said, not everybody was a big celebrity. And a lot of times people who think they're big celebrities were really the person bucking the celebrity lifestyle. So I kind of thought that was me. I was like a warrior, a fighter last lifetime. And so most of my stories of last lifetime, did it go weird again?
No, you're okay.
There you go. That's better.
Anyway, most of them are just me fighting wars and stuff like that. I just never really was into it. Not really. I didn't.
Yeah.
And I still think you could live last lifetime. Like I told John, who was my roommate for 7 years, and then he passed away, and he was a strong atheist. And I said, look, we're not going to know until we're going to know. And until it's all just speculation.
Right. Well, I remember that, there's probably been like over 20 people who said they were Queen Elizabeth I. Right. And when I did OT3, it suddenly clicked to me, 19 of those must have been BTs.
They copied it.
Right, because only one of them.
Tory, you froze up again.
Yeah.
You still there?
Yeah, Mark, you need to get WD-40 for your chair, or stop moving.
I know. There, she's back. Tory's back there.
But now I'm upside down, right?
There you go.
There you go. We're back. Well, anyway, Tory, we're going to wrap this up right now. We want to thank you for being here, and we will definitely do some more with you as well. And in the meantime, we want to ask everybody, please subscribe to our channel. Hit that like button. Janis likes to say rock slam that like button. That's what Janis likes to say. And but it really helps get the message out. Like Tory's been doing this forever, and her church, she's still doing the videos, and they help people get the word about the abuses of Scientology. So please subscribe to the channel. It's a big help to everybody. If you have any,
too,
and also subscribe to Tory's channel at Tory Magoo on YouTube. If you have any questions, just ask them in the comment section down below. We check them all the time, and we answer them all the time. And if you,
one last, OSA hates it when our subscriptions go up. So the more people.
Exactly.
Janis, what did you want to say, Janis?
No, I wanted you to stop so Tory could speak.
Okay, that's fine. I got it. All right, and then also, if you'd like to support our channel, you can buy us a coffee. There's a link down in the description down below. Any money we get, we just sort of put it back into the channel, so it really helps. But if you want to buy us 1, 2, 3, 10 coffees, whatever, we really would appreciate it. And that link is down below. Is there anything else, Janis or Tory, that you'd like to say before we end off?
We will have Tory back, and we're going to do not just 1 or 2 or 3. We're going to do more than that, so you get lots of stories. So just make sure you subscribe so you get the notification.
That's right.
And thank you to everybody who had a question, and thank you to Mark and Terry. I mean, Janis.
And we'll get your computer sorted out before the next one, so that way it's all,
Yeah.
you don't have to hold your phone.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, everybody, and Tory, hold on, don't hang up. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.